fantasy teams, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir, man. We are live. What's up, guys? We are back. We got a good card this Saturday. We have Angela Hill versus Michelle Waterson. Wasn't the main event that we wanted, but honestly, man, it's still a pretty good fight. I was talking to my friend about it. It's probably one of the best girl fights you can make. I mean, Hill's really hot right now, man. Probably one of the I'm not going to say the best fighters in the division, but I mean, she's arguably been looking really good lately, and Waterson's no slouch. Kelton, what's up, my man?
What's up, man? This is an exciting week, bro, because I mean, we got Tuesday Night Contender Series tonight, which I just looked into a couple of those fights. We're gonna have another really sick night tonight, man. I don't know if I'm gonna have a bet yet. We'll see. I'm kind of eyeing something a little chalky, but I'll tell you about that afterwards. And then for this UFC card, man, I mean, I'm a big DraftKings guy, and we finally have a card here with 12 fights. It was supposed to be 13. I don't know what happened to the Bruno Silva fight, but still 12 fights. That's really refreshing because, I mean, y'all know it's been 7 fights, 9 fights, 10 fights, 10 fights. Like it's been rough on the DraftKings side. So hopefully, if this card can stay together, man, it's going to be a really, really fun night.
Yeah, man. Before we talk about a recap of last Saturday's card, we were kind of just talking about something. We're gonna drop it right now. This Sunday, man, before football starts, we're gonna come on here around 9 o'clock, so 1 hour before, and we're just gonna do our predictions and stuff for fantasy. Who we think's gonna do good week one? We can talk about the season, talk about who we have in our teams, and basically just give out our rankings for week one. I mean, we'll say who we think's gonna go off and who we think's not gonna go off. I mean, me and Kelton are together. Personally, fantasy football is probably the best thing on the planet, in my opinion. I love it, and yeah, I know you're looking forward to play because this is your first year, right?
Yeah, this is my first year doing fantasy football. I'm in 3 leagues. You're in all 3 of them. And then I've also been doing a lot of best ball on DraftKings, which is pretty similar to fantasy football. It's just basically there's no defense, there's no kickers, and you don't have to adjust your starting lineup every single week. It just basically does it for you. Like if somebody on your bench happens to be your highest scoring wide receiver, they're just automatically going to insert that as your wide receiver one. So it's just that's why they call it best ball. They just give you the points of your best players. So I like that. Obviously the most fun part of fantasy football is arguably the draft. So it's like you can have all the fun doing the draft and then you really don't got to worry about it the rest of the year. So love best ball, love fantasy football, and definitely excited for that podcast on Sunday. Our schedules line up. It's Sunday football's back, man. So I'm excited to do that with you.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, if a lot of people watch it and tune in, we can make this a thing. I mean, we both have Sundays off. Or do you have Sundays off for the most part?
Not every Sunday, but some
Oh, okay.
Sundays.
Okay, well, we can make this a thing because I have Sundays off, so I'm down to do that. I mean, we love football in here. Yeah, let's do a recap of last card, main event: Sakai versus Reem. Sakai was, I mean, he looked good the first 2 rounds, but he just couldn't stuff the takedown. I bet on him on fight day. I kind of want to have action because Turner fight got canceled, and he was a dog that I picked to win, and I thought that he was live. I just didn't pull the trigger because I honestly was just wanted to have the one play on Turner, but then when I saw Turner got pulled out, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go with Sakai. And sucks, man. He lost. Is what it is. Overeem, Overeem's been looking good, man. I mean, he's been improving a lot, but I don't think he can hang with like the top guys in the division. Um, yeah, I mean, congrats to Overeem Betters. Next fight, OSP versus Menfield. Yeah, I mean, OSP pretty much dominated that fight. Menfield just didn't look like he wanted to be in there. Congrats to OSP, man. I mean, he's been on the decline, and he looked good, and the guy has legit fucking boxing. Pereira versus Zalim, congrats to you. I mean, domination, not much to say about Zalim. I mean, he doesn't belong. Next fight, Muniz versus Fabinski. I mean, yeah. I mean, I picked Fabinski, but I mean, I didn't think that Muniz was going to go out there and beat him that early. So, congrats to Muniz. Keller versus Rodriguez. What do you want to say? I mean, I don't think Rodriguez watched tape on Keller. So, I mean, it was kind of a bad performance on his part. Araujo versus De La Rosa. Even in a loss in De La Rosa, she looked. I mean, dude, she looked like she had definitely improved, and she's tough, dude. I didn't realize how good of a chin she has. Arguably, dude. I mean, I do think Araujo won that fight, but I mean, Montana looked fucking pretty decent, bro, in the second, third round. I mean, damn, dude, Montana fucking that was the best Montana we've ever seen, dude. So I know that she definitely got her fucking face fucked up, but she looked pretty good, dude. I'm excited to see who she fights next. And then obviously the last fight. I mean, oh my God, this 7-fight card, crazy. Hunter Azar versus Cole Smith. Yeah, Azar definitely won, but I mean, he put himself in some bad spots. I know that you were saying that you don't think Cole Smith's that good. I don't think he's. I think he's no slouch. I really want to see who they give Cole Smith next. I don't think he's a jobber. I would never say Cole Smith's a jobber. He's just not really like. He doesn't really have striking. He's just like a tough, gritty, good cardio, and he's big for the division too. What about you? Give us your repack. Oh, and betting wise, yeah, I just had the one play, so -3 units on the night. Thanks to Sakai. What about you?
Yeah, man, I was just thinking to myself for a second, like, damn, he just recapped that card quick. And then I remember, yeah, it was fucking 7 fights. Crazy, man. It was like the smallest card, I think, in UFC history. There wasn't even prelims. They just made it a 7-fight main card, which was pretty cool. But yeah, it was a great card, man, for only being 7 fights. I think we got good finishes, got good action, good 15-minute fights. The main event was a really, really good fight, man, because, I mean, it's one of those fights where it was a tale of 2 fights. It started off really strong for Augusto Sakai. His boxing looked really fucking good, man. When it comes to Alistair Overeem, like, we know he does that shell up game anytime he starts to get teed off on. He just goes 100% defense mode, but like Sakai handled it pretty well. Like the way he was ripping to the body too, the way he was elbowing, like he was hitting Alistair from all angles possible. Big props to Alistair. Like, it's just so crazy, man, because like sometimes he just gets clipped and knocked out by fighters who aren't as good as him, and that was a huge possibility here. But he ate every single one of Sakai's shots. Like, I don't think Overeem was even rocked at one point. Like he was just able to eat all the shots. And Sakai, I'll say this about Sakai. I'm big on his skills. I've bet him a couple times in the past, but I think for heavyweight standards, I don't know, man. He's not the biggest power puncher, which, I mean, of course, he's a 265-pound heavyweight, and I'm saying he's not a big power puncher. Like, of course, the guy hits hard, but I would say, like, comparing him to the rest of the division, I mean, I wouldn't put him in, like, the top 50% of the division power-wise. But anyway, I'm just rambling here. Sakai's a great fighter. He was looking good, and then the vet tactics of Alistair Overeem were able to take over. He got the takedowns. Ground and pound was vicious, dude. It's so crazy just to see him go from the Curtis Blades fight where he was just getting destroyed by ground and pound. Like that was a bloody massacre, that fight. And now it was kind of like it came in full circle here. Alistair Overeem was the one delivering out vicious ground and pound to Augusto Sakai. Augusto Sakai was a bloody mess afterwards. Huge props to Alistair Overeem. I mean, the guy that was his 65th pro MMA fight. And that's not even counting all the Muay Thai, the kickboxing. I mean, this guy's such a damn legend. So props to him. Oh, Vince St. Preux. Holy shit, dude. It's funny because I bet on Alonzo Menafield the first time. Then it got canceled. And then this time around, like, something just told me to pass, man. Like, it was kind of like the mixture of having to do another weight cut, like 2 weight cuts in 2 weeks. I know both guys had to do it, but, like, I don't know, just that level of them having to do that just kind of made the fight sketchier for me. This whole fight was just sketch to me, man. My gut was telling me to pass, and luckily my gut was right. Big win for Ovin St. Preux, another vet that came through. Like, he dominated. Like, it was like Alonzo Menafield looked like he didn't even belong in there. It was just yeah, I mean, it was just a perfect performance from OSP. Perfect game plan, executed it perfectly. So huge props to him. Alonzo Menafield needs to take a big step back, but I think he can, claw his way back up to the top 15 at one point. And then my only bet of the night, Michel Pahea. I got -110 on him for 3 units to win 2.7. That was a really nice cash, man, because, I mean, he dominated from bell to bell. Even got the finish there. I don't know if it was a rightful finish. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, it looked like Zaleem might have given like that really faint tap, but I don't know. It was really weird. It's not like it matters. Like, Zaleem wasn't going to come back and win that fight. The dude was getting absolutely fucking destroyed. Love how Pahea gave him the slap back from the the weigh-ins. He definitely deserved that, and I'm happy to see Zalimi Madaev go 0-3 in the UFC, because if you know anything about this guy, he's not a nice person. So if there's anybody to go 0-3 in the UFC, I'd like it to be that guy, and that's what happened. Bahia showed he's way more athletic. He's more technical on the feet. His movement was really on point. The guy's a problem, man. I wouldn't rush him. I wouldn't give him Jorge Masvidal or anybody in the top 25 for that matter. But yeah, keep giving this guy fun fights. I saw somebody say Michel Pereira versus Mounier Lazez. That would be a fucking sick fight, man. Of course, you'd have to kill one prospect to do it, but man, I would not complain about that fight whatsoever. Next one, Andre Muniz, Bartosz Fabinski. I'm kind of pissed about this one because I said all week I wanted plus 150 Muniz. It even hit plus 145, but like I stuck with my gut, man. I wanted the line that I said I wanted. I never got it, and Muniz made it look easy anyway. I mean, he should have been the favorite in that spot, man. I mean, just Barto's style is going to present opportunities for Muniz to get the sub, but I mean, in the back of my head, I mean, I was just thinking like, all right, Bartos is just gonna, I don't know. You could have looked at it from both sides, like, oh, Muniz is gonna give Bartos all the opportunities to lay on top of him and tire him out, and that was a possibility here, man. But dude, Bartos is just too defensively flawed in that mat. He's really gonna have to work on things because, I mean, if his style is to go and take guys down, you got to know how to fucking, defend against submission. So, yeah, but rough look for Bartos there. But, I mean, on the other hand, Andre Muniz is really legit BJJ. So, good performance from him. Brian Kelleher made easy work of this guy who obviously did zero tape on Brian Kelleher. He obviously had zero idea that Brian Kelleher has one of the best guillotines in the UFC. Just the way... Oh my God, dude. And he was landing some all right shots on the feet too. And then he dives right into fucking Kelleher. Like, oh my God. Just, yeah, get Ray Rodriguez out of the UFC. I was surprised he even got the call in the first place. I know he was just a backup, but yikes, man. Just to lose like that, that's not a good look. Next fight, Vivi Araujo and Montana De La Rosa. Yeah, Vivi did her thing. She's a good athlete for the division, man. She's got good pop behind her strikes. Just good overall striker. She's got an all right ground game to go behind that. Obviously, this fight never really hit the mat. But yeah, good performance from her. Montana should have gone a little more hard for those takedowns, but is what it is. Her striking actually looked improved. Like, obviously, it wasn't near good enough to outstrike Vivi or Araujo, but Montana De La Rosa's striking improved, and I think she'll be back. And then the first fight of the night, Hunter Azure and Cole Smith. Yeah, you were kind of hinting to it. Yeah, I think Cole Smith is one of the worst fighters in the UFC, honestly. I mean, I said it on the podcast. All this guy has going for him is the fact that he's one of the biggest 35-pounders on the roster. And, he was able to survive. Azure clipped him hard at first. Man, I was thinking in that first round, I saw him clip Smith, drop him. I'm like, yeah, I should have fucking just bet Hunter Azure like I was thinking I wanted to, because, I mean, Cole Smith is a guy I always want to fade, man. I mean, I just don't think he's that good at all. But damn, he came back strong in that third round, so he probably had Azure better sweating. He even won that third round, so yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too high on Hunter Azure either, but I definitely think he was the much better fighter here. So props to him, and we are on to the next card, man.
There's one thing I want to say about Contender Series real quick. So that dude that fights tonight, what is his name? Sherrod Blackedge. I believe that he's like a main training partner of Jordan Levitt. Yeah, he was in Jordan Levitt's corner when he fought Flores, and he's going to be in this guy's corner too tonight. So I'm kind of curious. I mean, the guy's 4-0, and I mean, he's green, but I mean, kind of looks like Roosevelt Roberts a little bit, and maybe has like the same kind of striking. I don't know. I didn't really watch that much tape on that matchup. Did you?
No, I haven't. That's the only fight I haven't watched tape yet on the card.
Yeah, but yeah, man. So let's fucking break down these fights. We do have a special guest coming on in a little bit. I'm not gonna say who it is yet, but he's kind of a jobber. But just kidding. But first fight of the night, we got Sabina Mazzo versus Justine Kish, and I'm gonna let you go with this one first, because I believe that you might have a potential play.
Yeah, I might. we'll see what happens with the line movement, but I definitely like Sabina Mazo here, man. I think this is a great matchup for her. Um, just not high on Justine Kish overall, and then I think when you look at career trajectories here, I mean, Mazo's a young girl on the way up who I believe is improving every fight, and Justine Kish is super inactive. She moved up to 125 pounds, which I don't know is the best decision. Like, she's definitely one of the smallest flyweights on the roster. I thought she looked much better at 115, but maybe that cut was just too hard for her. Either way, man, Sabina Mazo has the physical advantages here. She is the taller girl. She does have a 6-inch reach advantage. I do think she can give Justine Kish problems with the range. I think she can get off on those head kicks. Uh, just be too long, tall, athletic, young for Justine Kish on the feet. I know a lot of people are bringing up that JJ Aldrich fight, which, all right, let's talk about the JJ Aldrich fight. Like, I scored the fight for Sabina Mazo. I thought she won rounds 2 and 3. She kind of stole it there in the second, and then she won the third round. But, like, the thing is, I feel like JJ Aldrich has better hands than Justine Kish. I feel like she just has a better understanding of boxing. She was able to get on the inside there, and I don't know if it's going to happen with Justine Kish here. I think this is going to be Sabina Mazo's fight on the feet. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about the takedowns. Maybe Kish can get one or two, but I'm going to go with the younger fighter. I'm going to go with the longer fighter. I'm going to actually say she ends up hitting one of those head kicks that she hit on the regional scene, and I'm going to say she knocks out Justine Kish here. Yeah. Don't have a bet right now, but we'll see what happens, man. I mean, obviously the money is coming in on Kish. It's gone from -300 to -245. So I'm going to keep being patient, see what happens.
So up next, what, Dan from Half the Battle go? What's up, Dan? It's your, you've been on here before, but yeah, Dan's definitely, one of the best fighters in the game, and I'm happy he's on here.
Thank you very much for having me, gentlemen. Y'all can hear me good? Everything is good?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, I just wanted to say I'm really excited to be on here with you guys. It's been since, I think, April when Israel Adesanya fought Kelvin and Dustin Poirier fought Max in Atlanta, Georgia. I think that was the last time I was on here with you guys. Since that point, Kelvin, it's been awesome to see the work you've been putting in, man. I hope you stay disciplined and keep it up. And Justin, my boy is cleaning up the streets in Vegas. So stay on that good fight, my man.
Thanks, man. But yeah, man, who do you got in this matchup?
This is a tough one for me to call. I'm not as confident as Kelton is at all. Kelton says that she's going to go out there and knock Kish out. I think the only person that's ever dominated Kish in a fight was Felice Herrig back when Felice Herrig was ranked in the top 10. And when you talk about knocking people out, Mazo couldn't even knock out JJ Aldrich or Shayna Dobson, who has like a 3-4 record. So I don't really understand why she's going to all of a sudden come out here and knock Kish out. Kish is usually very competitive, and she fights at a high pace. So I actually think it's a dog or pass fight. I would lean Mazo for the sole fact that, she's got the advantages in terms of age and reach, and, she's probably trending a little bit more upwards. But Kish is no slouch, man. Kish usually fights very competitive. She beat Randa Marco. She beat Nina Ansaroff, who are both ranked or formerly ranked. So that's something Mazo's never done. But yeah, Mazo, I think she's been looking better her last few fights, but if we're talking about her knocking people out, again, she couldn't knock out Marina Moroz, Dobson, JJ Aldrich, and we saw JJ Aldrich get knocked out before in the UFC. Not against Mazo, though.
Yeah, man, that's an interesting fight because Mazzo's super green for sure. But I mean, I do like her. She's pretty big for 125. Good jab, like Kelvin said, good head kicks. We haven't really seen the head kicks though in UFC. I mean, that was against people, on the regional scene. Moro, or was it fucking Moros fucked her up pretty bad, but Moros is fucking improving a lot, man. She beat fucking Bueno Silva too. Yeah, I don't know, man. Kish is definitely on the decline. I do think that she's getting older. I thought she beat Kim though. That was 2 fights ago, and then she beat Pudilova, which is kind of a really uneventful fight. I think that she might have to take down Mazo personally. I don't know if she can, but I'll go with Mazo the decision. But I don't think she knocks her out. That's kind of a bold statement because Kish is tough, dude. He has a good chin. Next fight is the one that we've been kind of going back and forth on, all of us, honestly. We got Brian Barberena versus Anthony Ivy. Dan, who you got in this one?
So just real quick, I'm just going to say this. So today's Tuesday, and it's like not even 1 p.m. yet. So I reserve the right to change any of these picks. Usually half the battle comes out later on in the week, so some of these are pre-tape leans. But man, I don't like what I've been hearing from the Barberena camp. Hearing that he weighed 240 when this fight camp started. Stuff like that. That he's got to cut 70 pounds to make 170. I already don't like that for a guy that was having. Not that he was having cardio issues, but he used to be a 55er. He's kind of a little bit fatter for the 170 weight class. It was just a case where he didn't want to cut the weight, and he likes to eat. It is what it is. We all like to eat, don't we? So I think Ivy, he's going to have a better account of himself this time than he did last time. Last time I think it was a case where he got the call, he had to make weight and then fight. He didn't even get a training camp. It was just basically go cut weight and get into the octagon and get into a fight with Christian Aguilera, who, has double-digit knockout wins. So here with Barberena, I actually think that Ivy's a live dog. I think there's a dog or pass situation. I understand leaning with Barb just because, it's Barb. He's beat Warley Alves. He's been in there with some of the best guys on planet Earth. But I would not lay the chalk on him, especially, losing 70 pounds. That's too much for me. So I'm going to lean with the dog on this one.
Kelvin, what you got, man?
Yeah, man, this is a really interesting fight. It pains me to say, but I actually bet on Anthony Ivy in that fight against Christian Aguilera, and the way he came out and lost made it look really, really bad. And man, the reason I bet on Anthony Ivy in that fight was because I was actually really impressed with the ground game. I think he's pretty slick on the mat. I've seen him, subpar fighters, but knee bars, triangles, rear naked chokes. He's landed a lot of submissions before. He is a really good grappler, and I thought he was going to be able to expose the ground game of Christian Aguilera. Turns out it was actually Sean Brady who exposed the ground game of Christian Aguilera. Dan's right. Aguilera is a really hard-hitting guy, and I don't know, man, just the way he got hit in that fight. I know he was pretty rocked, but he just shelled up, and it looked like he's never been hit like that before. It was a really bad look. Now, I don't think Brian Barberena hits like Christian Aguilera, but I do think Brian Barberena is absolutely a big step up in competition, just from a pure overall skill point. Brian Barberena, he's been in there. He's had wars with Vicente Luque. He's had fights with, 15 minutes with Leon Edwards, Colby Covington. This is a huge step up for Anthony Ivy. And if you're going to take a really bad 1 minute KO loss and take a big step up in competition, that's not a good look. But because of the reasons Dan mentioned, the fact that he was 240 pounds, the fact that he just took 2 brutal KO losses, I don't think you can lay the minus 260 on Brian Barberena here. It's just a pass overall, in my opinion. I will say, though, this is probably going to be a good fight to target in DraftKings. I think the winner's going to score real high.
Yeah, this is interesting, man. I do think that if Ivy goes out there and fights smart, he could probably take down Barberena because, Barberena has a pretty good get-up game, but it's been taken down, man, a lot in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had that game plan. But on the feet, I do think that Barberena is a better striker. Good pressure. But like Dan said, kind of nervous, seeing how he looks after, the injuries. And, the injuries, number one. Also, the fucking the long-ass, 75 or 70 pounds he had to cut? He's a pretty big dude too, man. So I'm curious, but I like Barberena, man. I think that he can beat a guy like Ivy. It's what Barberena shows up. If he shows up really slow and shit, I don't know if he's going to be able to go out there and starch a guy like Ivy. But I don't know. I wasn't really impressed with Ivy in the last fight, and then before that in the regional scene, he looked pretty good. He's a big dude for 170. He's definitely the bigger guy. But Barberena has some good uppercuts and a good right hand. I know you guys don't agree with this, but I do think that he had a close fight at Luque, man, until the third round. I think Barberena was up on the scorecards, but that was probably because it was in fucking Arizona. I think Luque was probably winning the fight, but they're coming with a hometown bias. But yeah, man, Barberena dropped Edwards too. And Barberena's, he's had some fucking good times in the UFC. It's just he's definitely on the decline, and he's taking a lot of damage lately too. And one thing too, he's super weak to the body. So if Ivy goes out there and kicks him in the body, I would not be surprised if he went down. So I'll go Barberena. I was a little more confident, earlier in the week, but I can't blame you. You guys are right. Next fight, we got Brock Weaver versus Frank Camacho. Man, this is one of the biggest pass of the night. I don't know who I got here, man. I didn't really know. It's hard to fucking say who should win this fight. I got to go with the dog just because I can't pick Camacho in a fight anymore. The guy is just so untrustworthy. He has no chin. He's tough. I mean, he's a better striker, I feel like, for sure. I think that he's more technical and he hits harder. But I mean, grappling wise, I don't know. I feel like both guys can take the other guy down, and I think Weaver just has more fight in him right now, and he's the I don't know. It's hard picking either guy because Weaver fucking got embarrassed last fight, and he's been embarrassed. But I don't know. Someone's telling me that the dog's gonna win this fight in a very close decision, so I'll go with Weaver. I'm not confident. Kelvin, what do you got?
Yeah, man, it's funny because pre-tape, looking at the odds, seeing plus 180, plus 185 to fade Frank Camacho, like my eyes immediately lit up just because, I mean, the guy's been pretty unimpressive in the UFC. Like he's exciting for sure. I love watching the guy fight, but yeah, in that last loss he took, not a good look. So I saw the dog odds on Brock Weaver. I'm like, all right, so this fight should probably stay standing. I don't see Frank Camacho coming out here landing takedowns, and that's probably what Brock Weaver wants. He is a boxer. He's got good cardio. I would be surprised if Frank Camacho came out here and actually looked like a minus 220 favorite. But when I looked into it, man, I just hate what I see from Brock Weaver on tape. I think Frank Camacho is, unless that last loss really like hurt him to a point, I think he should come out here. I think he's the much better fighter than Brock Weaver. I think he should light him up standing and possibly even knock him out. So it's definitely not a fight I want to bet on. It's a huge pass, but I'm going to go with Frank Camacho here to get back on track. I'll say he gets a knockout in the second round. Who do you got, Dan?
I got to go with Brock Weaver here, man. This is 100% a dog or pass fight. You cannot lay over minus 200 on a guy like Frank Camacho. I mean, he's 2-5 in the UFC. It's been proven that he doesn't have much past the first round. And it's just one of those cases where he's going to give Brock Weaver the exact fight that Brock Weaver wants. Brock Weaver wants to go out there and brawl. Brock Weaver doesn't want to get laid on. Frank Camacho is not going to lay on him. Brock Weaver doesn't want to go out there and have, a technique battle. Frank Camacho is not going to go out there and have a technique battle with him. Frank Camacho is going to go out there and brawl, which is the exact kind of fight that Brock Weaver excels in. So if this is line to pick him, then we pass. But plus 180 on a 50-50 fight, I mean, unless it's not a 50-50 fight. If I'm dead wrong and, Camacho comes out here looking like, a minus 2 something, okay, then I look at it again afterwards and reassess, my evaluation. But I view this as minus 110 a piece. Okay, if you want to give Camacho a slight edge because of the guys he's fought, minus 130 Camacho. Well, there's still value on Weaver at this price. So I got Weaver in the spot. Probably a decision, or maybe he chokes him out, maybe he knocks him out, but I got Weaver here.
I do think that Camacho is probably going to shoot. I really do. But, I mean,
he does have this, like, underrated trip takedown he gets some of these guys with. But the thing with Camacho that I've been hearing, from guys that used to train with him was that even in the gym, like, he's really damn good until he gasses. He breaks when he gasses. We've seen it in fights, and apparently that's the story in the gym too. So I'm thinking that's going to happen here as well.
Yeah, Weaver definitely has a better cardio, and Weaver's way more durable. Next fight, man, we got this is a good fight. Bobby Green versus Alan Patrick. This is a really interesting line. I don't agree with this line at all. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but yeah, that line's off. Dan, who you got in this one?
So this is an interesting fight because, like, I would favor Bobby Green. I think he's the more well-rounded guy here. But Patrick's one of these, like, specialists. He's a really solid grinder, very unorthodox with his standing techniques. I mean, he's going out there, like, doing some capoeira type stuff with all his spins. He'll do backflips at the weigh-ins. People thought Michel Pereira was the first guy to do backflips at the weigh-ins, but actually Alan Patrick was out here doing this before Pereira was even in the UFC. But man, Alan Patrick got smashed his last fight, and we don't really know what he's been up to since that point. So now it's about, has he been at Fusion XL with Julian Williams and all those guys training? I got to see what kind of shape he's in. But, I mean, when he goes out there and wins fights, he puts up takedown numbers. I mean, he scored 9 takedowns his last win against Damir Hadzovic. So, but Bobby Green seems like a tough guy to take down. I mean, I think he can be pushed into the fence. So I think that, Patrick will have success, at times, but I'm just wondering about the in-between because I think that Bobby's got a more well put together MMA game than Alan Patrick. So I'm going to lean with Bobby Green here, but I do understand people taking the shot because they think the line might be a little bit wide, but I do think that Bobby Green is the more well-rounded fighter here, and I'll take him for that reason.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Green's last fight, man. He fucked up Lando. I'm kind of pissed I didn't bet him in that fight. But yeah, like Kelvin was saying earlier too, like a lot of his last fights, Green could have won those fights. He could be on a winning streak, right? I mean, like what'd you say, Kelvin? A nine fight winning streak? Something like
I
that.
I don't know if it's that big. I think a 7-fight win streak.
A lot of his fights have been close. He's definitely way better here in the feet. And one thing I like about Green is just the guy's just not a quitter, dude. He's never gonna give up. He's so fucking tough. He has good cardio too. I mean, he's good pretty much everywhere. I mean, he has a grappling game too. Obviously, Patrick has the better grappling, and like Dan said, he's super one-dimensional. But yeah, he's bigger than Green too. But I'm really curious to see how he looks here. He hasn't fought in a long time since the Holtzman fight, so we'll see. I don't agree with the line at all. I feel like it should be more maybe minus 150 Green. Because Green, let's be honest, he's getting older too. I don't think he's declining or washed up, but I mean, he is getting a little older, but he's been looking really good lately, man. So I got to go with Bobby Green, and I think he gets a KO. Calvin, who you got?
Yeah, man, this is another one where pre-tape my eyes lit up, especially since Bobby Green actually opened up around the minus 160 range. I know it's been steamed since. Basically, that just stems from we haven't seen Alon Patrick in a while. It's actually been since October 2018, so pretty close up on 2 years. And that was a really bad, vicious loss, man. Like the kind of loss where I don't know if this guy's gonna come back the same. I believe he is an older fighter too. I want to say he's around 37 or 38 years old. Obviously, with the layoff, like within the last year, I'm thinking, are we even gonna ever see Alon Patrick again? And then randomly gets this fight here against Bobby Green, and it's like. So my thoughts on Alon Patrick are so negative at this point. He hasn't fought in a while. Just took that loss. And then Bobby Green on the other side, like Justin just mentioned, Bobby Green could arguably be on like a real nice win streak. The Trinaldo fight was close. The Drakkar Close fight was close. The first Lando Venata fight, it was a draw. Could have gone Bobby's way. Even the Rashid Magomedov fight, I scored that fight for Rashid Magomedov, but it was really close, man. So, Bobby Green's out here, looking good in these fights. So I'm thinking Bobby Green could be easy money, but when I look into it, Bobby Green's been taken down in 5 of his last 6 fights. I can actually see Alon Patrick coming out here and doing his thing, but it's just tough to say just because of the layoff and the age. I know Bobby Green's no spring chicken either, but I've just been seeing way more activity from him, way more solid performances. For whatever amount of time this fight's on the feet, Bobby Green should absolutely have a big boxing advantage. And I think even when he does get taken down, I think he can shoot back up and pour on damage that'll outweigh the amount of top time Alon Patrick, gets over the 15 minutes. So I'll say Bobby Green wins at least 2 rounds, but I could see Patrick having some moments with the takedowns and maybe some top control time. So it's definitely a pass for me at current line, minus me, Bobby. I don't want that.
Next fight. This is probably one of the best fights of the card. We
muted,
have Roosevelt Roberts. I'm muted? I think Dan's muted.
No, you just lagged for me. No,
Oh, okay.
The connection's a little messed up. It's good now.
Oh, okay. We have Roosevelt Roberts versus Matt Frevola. Yeah, this is one of the best cards, or one of the best fights of the card. A lot of people are counting out Roberts here. I know he's the favorite, but a lot of people on MMA Twitter, dude, are saying that Frevola's going to go out there and starch him. I have Roberts in a play here. I have 3 units at minus 120. Yes, I botched it. Yes, we get it. I botched a lot of lines. So let's not talk about that right now. Honestly, I think that he has a huge advantage in this fight on the feet here. I know that he gets taken down, and I know that he lost to Vince Pichel. That was first L time. People are saying that he quit in the 3rd round and all that, and gas for sure. Pichel definitely, got the clear decision winning that fight. But yeah, man, I think Roberts is a good fighter. I think he's a good prospect. He's a little green, but I just feel like a lot of people are writing him off because he lost to Jim Miller. If you watch that fight, he slipped and Miller got on top of him. And then he fucking got on top of Miller, and he should have got up, but he didn't. And then he got caught in a really nice armbar. I mean, it's Jim Miller. I mean, people are acting like Jim Miller is like a washed up guy. Like, he's definitely declining, but the guy still has really good jiu-jitsu, and he got caught in an armbar. And one thing I like about Roberts in this matchup, he called out for Bull. He'd been trying to fight him for a long time because he beat his main training partner, Jalen Turner. So I feel like that Robert's going to come out here and look really good here. He's definitely the better striker. I feel like he's the faster striker. I think that he can pick apart Frevola. And Frevola, I like Frevola. Like, I bet on him versus Pena. I think that he's improving every fight too. But he gets hurt every fight, and I would not be surprised at all if Roberts hurts him in this fight and catches him with that guillotine, because Roberts has a really good ground game. He's a brown belt in BJJ. I do think that Frevola can get him down. Frevola has a better wrestling, But I just don't think Frevola can go out there and hold him down for 2 rounds. I think that Roberts is super scrappy on the mat, and Roberts could actually maybe even reverse him and get on top. I mean, let's be honest. Roberts can take down Frevola too. Just the thing with Frevola is that the guy's cardio is so good. That's his best asset in his game. His cardio. He's tough. He's still a little chinny though. I mean, let's talk about the Lando fight. I mean, Lando fucking arguably won that fight. I mean, that was a lot of damage he took in that fight. He gets hurt every fight. I mean, Turner caught him with that knee with the first 30 seconds. Bob Ross hurt him last fight with the knee. So I think one of these days he's going to get KO'd stiff again. And I know Roberts isn't a KO artist or anything, but I mean, he has a really good jab, a good right hand. I would not be surprised one bit if Roberts hurt him and caught him with that guillotine. People are forgetting about Roberts' guillotine. He has really long arms. I like Roberts here. I will admit that, maybe the 3rd round, it'll get interesting because Frevola has the better cardio. But I still think Roberts has good cardio. We've already seen him gas against Pacho. I do think he has good cardio. And I think Roberts is going to win a clear-cut decision here, man. So I got Roberts with the decision. I think that he's just so much better on the feet. And I do think that Frevola is no slouch. I'm not going to disrespect him because I do like the guy. I just think that he's slow, and I think that he's going to get picked apart. So I got Roberts. Dan, who you got?
This is a really, really good fight, man. I do see a lot of similarities between Roosevelt and the last 2 opponents that Frevola fought, but there's obviously some differences as well. The similarities are that he's 6'3", just like Jalen Turner and Luis Pena. So Frevola already knows what it's like to go in there, 15 minutes with 2 6'3" guys. So that's not going to be a surprise to him at all. And I would also say that Turner and Pena are a lot more dangerous on the feet than Roosevelt Roberts is, but I would say that Roberts is probably a little sneakier on the mat. He's got some good transitions. He can get takedowns of his own. And I think that Roosevelt Roberts has a bright future. I think he's still a little green. So I see this being a really close fight. I don't see Roosevelt landing that much damage on the feet, kind of like these other guys have. Like Lando landed a big head kick, which, I mean, listen, you get hit with a head kick, you're probably going to go down. The fact that Frevola was able to get back up and then win that round, that speaks volumes to the kind of conditioning the kid has and his will. So I like him a lot. I'm going to say Frevola edges a split decision here. I think that it's going to be 1-1 going into the 3rd round. And then, like you said, Justin, Frevola is going to have that extra gas in the tank to push in that 3rd round, get that last takedown, stay on top the last, couple minutes of the 3rd round, and then win that 29-28. People are going to be crying robbery on Twitter. But I got Frevola here via split decision.
Man, this is a really good fight. Every time I break down a Matt Frevola fight, I always think back to when I watched him in Tampa against Luis Pena. He had I'm not even kidding you guys. He had an entire section of supporters there. They pretty much stole the entire arena when it came to the energy and the noise. It's crazy the amount of the support system this guy Matt Frevola has. I've never seen any. I've been to a lot of sporting events in my life, guys. I've never seen an entire section devoted to one guy like I saw that night. So that always just sticks to me. Place was super loud. I don't know how it was in the broadcast. It was super loud. This is an interesting fight, man. It's really close. I get the pick on Roosevelt Roberts, Justin, but at favorite money, I got to disagree with you. I'm going to go with the dog, Matt Frevola here. I think he is going to be able to get takedowns. I don't like what I see with Roosevelt Roberts when it comes to keeping the fight on the feet when he needs to. I saw Thomas Gifford take this guy down, get about 1.5 minutes of top control. Obviously the Vince Pichel fight, the Yakovlev fight. Now he won the Yakovlev fight, and I would definitely call that his best win. He went out there and beat a real experienced Russian in Russia. But again, he was taken down 3 times in that fight. Jim Miller fight. Jim Miller was never officially credited with a takedown, but Jim Miller got that fight to the mat, and that's just what I see Matt Frevola doing here, man. I think he's going to use his boxing to set up the takedowns, and I do think Matt Frevola does have some, all right boxing, good enough to get on the inside of Roosevelt here. I mean, obviously worth mentioning the reach advantage for Roosevelt. I think it's at least 3 inches or something like that. Roosevelt does have the physical advantages here, man. I would say he's the better athlete. He is the longer athlete. And he could give Matt Frevola problems on the feet here, man. I just don't see it being so much of an advantage to outweigh Matt Frevola's advantages with the wrestling. I would say that the wrestling is the biggest advantage in the fight here, man. So I would cap Matt Frevola around at least a minus 140 favorite here. So at dog money, I'm really looking hard at betting Matt Frevola. Sorry, Justin. I'm going to go against you here. I'm going to say he wins I'll say a 29-28 unanimous.
Yeah, I know I picked him by decision, but I definitely think that he can choke him out. I think either he can get that standing guillotine or something on the mat, because that standing guillotine that he has is pretty nice, and Frevola can shoot and leave his neck out. I would not be surprised one bit if that happened. Next, one thing too about Frevola, he's looking in good shape. I saw on Instagram, like I think he's calling himself like lean Rolla, like he's looking in the best shape he's ever been in. So I'll say that. Next fight, we got Julia Avila, the Raging Panda, versus Sarge Eubanks. This is an interesting fight because I don't think this line should be where it is. I do think that Avila is one of the best prospects in the division, but everyone's counting out Eubanks. I mean, I know that she has really bad cardio, but I mean, she could definitely go out there and take down Avila. I know Avila is a brown belt though, but I mean, she can get taken down, I feel like, but she's such a good prospect, man. I mean, she has a good get up game. She has a really good striking. I mean, she's nasty on the feet. I mean, last fight she destroyed Manzani, and then before that she won every round against Pani. Good pressure, and she's really good in the clinch, dude. She's nasty with her knees and a good right hand. I like everything about her game. I mean, her only loss is a fight that she like broke her hand in. So I mean, that was kind of stupid loss.
And she wanted to keep going, bro. She wanted to keep fighting. The ref's like, nah, we can't.
Yeah. But one thing I got to address is I know that she fought Cheesecake last fight, and let's be honest, I like Cheesecake. I mean, just because, I don't know, her ground game's kind of cool, but other than that, she's not a good fighter. Eubanks striking looked good last fight. It definitely was probably the best striking we've ever seen, Eubanks. I mean, she looked good. Great jab. She was messing Cheesecake up the whole fight. And her cardio, she didn't gas in that fight either, man. I mean, that's notorious for her cardio, but I think Eubanks is no slouch. I thought that she had a close fight with Aspen Ladd. I mean, some people even scored that for her. I don't think that she won, but I think that she definitely won a round. Serious black belt. I think that she has advantage here on the mat. I think that she could actually maybe even have some success on the feet. I mean, she throws some bombs and training with Mark Henry. I mean, her striking improved a lot. I think this line's off. This line should not be where it is. Avila should not be minus 350 or minus 400 against a girl like Eubanks. Eubanks is no slouch, and yeah, she's 5-4. But I actually argue it could be 9-4 if you counter fights on tough. So I'm gonna go with Avila winning a very close decision win. But Eubanks is live. I do think that Eubanks is could definitely get the upset here. Dan, who you got?
I got Avila. Listen, I think that you're right that Eubanks can make this fight close. She might even win the first round. It's just that Eubanks historically slows down after the first round, and this is not a new thing. This is something that's been going on for a long time. I think that people forget, she's 36 years old. She's getting up there. She's already had a long career, even though it says she's officially 5-4. But like you said, she was out there on The Ultimate Fighter. But yeah, look, she's definitely way better than, who are these people Avila's been fighting? Like, Tim Elliott's girlfriend, Gina Mazzani. Like, dude, like, come on now. This ain't Gina Mazzani. So I don't think Eubanks is going to come out here and take a knee after the first punch or any shit like that. Like I said, I think Eubanks might even come out here and win the first round. But after that, like, she historically slows down. I haven't seen that same, sign from Avila. I think Avila can maintain that same pace, and Avila's aggressive. Avila hits hard too. Decent takedown defense from what I've seen. So I see Avila winning the second and third round and going out there and winning a 29-28 unanimous decision.
Yeah, I'm high on Avila. I think she brings some, nice things to the table. She's got good boxing. I think she has pretty good power for women's MMA standards, but I got to be honest, I'm kind of along the same train of thought as Justin here. I think Ciara Eubanks could actually be live here. I mean, if you're looking at two women MMA fighters and one of them is a huge favorite, I lost my train of thought. Two women's MMA fighters with less than 10 pro fights and one of them's a big favorite. I mean, you definitely got to figure out why, and I guess I see why. Avila definitely has a cardio advantage, boxing advantage, power advantage, yada yada, but like I just have this hunch that Ciara Eubanks might have like a huge advantage on the mat here. She does have great jiu-jitsu. And in that first round, she is when she's got the gas in the tank, she's a good fighter, man. I mean, she's got some good wins in the UFC. I mean, the Lauren Murphy win was a good one. I mean, especially considering how Lauren Murphy has been looking recently. She's been looking pretty good. So Yeah, it's hard for me to pick Ciara here just because like she's let me down a few times and the cardio is not good. So I will say Avila wins the 29-28 decision here, rounds 2 and 3, but wow, I would not touch it with a 10-foot pole at that line because I don't know, man. Like I could really see I could see one of two things. I could see Ciara taking her down, kind of just resting in top control. So maybe she's got some gas in round 2. Or I mean she could take her down and possibly lock up a submission. So I think it's dog or pass, but definitely pass on my side. Now you're muted.
You're muted, buddy.
My
And
bad.
who's Ciara?
CR Eubanks. My bad. We got Matt. Who said CR? Me or Kelton?
Kelton, it's Sajara.
Ciara. Yeah.
We have Matt Dangerous Schnell versus Tyson Nam. Me and Kelton both have a play in this fight. Let's go with Kelton first, man. Kelton, who you got?
Yeah, man, this is a great fight in the fly division. I've been intrigued since Tyson Nam got into the UFC, man. I've known about this guy for a long time. I remember his KO win over Eduardo Dantas. What was that? Forever ago. I remember his KO loss against Marlon Moraes back in, man, that was like one of the first World Series of Fighting shows way back in the day. The comeback win over Ali Bagatinov, that was a little more recent. I think that was like 1 or 2 fights before he got into the UFC. But this guy has been around for sure. There's no lack of experience for Tyson Nam, and he's shown that in the UFC so far. You know, lost decisions to Sergio Pettis and Kai Kara France. Clear decisions, but he showed a good account of himself in those fights. And then, man, his most recent fight, he was able to go out there and get his first UFC win against Zaruk Adashev, who, I mean, let's be honest, the guy was coming off the couch. It was not a good look, and he went out there and smoked him. And he's got a tough fight here with Matt Schnell, in my opinion. I think this is definitely a step down from Kai Kara France and Sergio Pettis, but it's, I mean, an astronomical step up from Zaruk Adashev. So it's definitely it's interesting to cap this fight for a lot of reasons. I feel like Matt Schnell is the better fighter here. I do feel like, you know, he might not hit as hard, but I actually do give him like a nice little speed advantage. And I think he does have, you know, the better overall striking than Tyson Nam, especially volume wise. I mean, that's what everybody will bring up when breaking down a Tyson Nam fight. We all know it. The guy doesn't throw a lot of volume. So if this fight stays standing on the feet and Schnell doesn't happen to get knocked out, I definitely see him winning this decision. The problem is Schnell's chin, man. Like that's my big worry here is, you know, we've seen this guy knocked out in the past by questionable knockouts too. Like the Hector Sandoval knockout will always stick out to me. And then it's not even the chin, man. In his last fight against Pantoja, it was the chin mixed with his the way he approached it. I mean, he approached it in a brawling sense. You don't brawl with Pantoja. That guy's one of the best fighters and hardest hitters in the division. And Schnell was looking all right there. It's just he wasn't ready for Pantoja. In my opinion, this is a step down here. Tyson Nam hits really hard, and I'm going to be scared as fuck of that KO. But if you're giving me dog money on Matt Schnell, I'm going to have to take that, man, because I really do feel like he wins this fight. I think he can land takedowns. I feel like he can outstrike Tyson Nam. It's just that one thing I'm really worried about is that knockout. But if you're giving me dog money, then I feel comfortable enough to take the shot. Not only that, man, I just kind of feel like a knockout from Tyson Nam here would be a lower percentage outcome than a 15-minute fight here, just because Matt, I mean, other than that last fight where he just completely brawled Matt, before that, Matt Schnell actually showed to be a pretty intelligent fighter, knows what he needs to do. It's just, I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't come out like he did last fight. He should win this fight via decision. I got 2 units at him at plus 105, but I'm worried about that knockout. I can't lie.
Yeah, who you got?
So I like the fact that, you know, Schnell and his buddy Head Kicks MMA, Aaron Phillips, they both went to Fortis MMA for this camp. So, you know, that's good. They're trying to, you know, change up the scenery and work with a good team and do all that stuff. So I'm really happy to see that. And I do agree with some of the stuff you said, you know, that overall, if we're just analyzing their skill sets, I do agree that Schnell is the better fighter here across the board. It's just that there's one big issue here, and that is that he has no chin, and he's fighting one of the most devastating knockout artists in the history of the flyweight division. I mean, when this guy knocked out Eduardo Dantas, it was a massive deal, and he knocked out Ali Bagautinov as well. Obviously, the Zaruk Adishev fight in the UFC. Like, you know, you can say what you want about this kid coming off the couch. I mean, but like, how about the way Tyson handled the kid coming off the couch? It's not like he went to a 15-minute close decision with him. He fucking taught him that, like, hey, you better show up in shape if you want to fight a guy like me. So, I mean, I think that Schnell's going to fight tough. It's just that I think he's going to get knocked out for the 5th time in his career. I know it officially says 3 times, but the reality is it all started with the Jonathan Martinez KO. I don't know if y'all know, but Jonathan Martinez knocked him out back in the day. They called it a DQ, but I mean, Jonathan Martinez kneed him in the face and Matt Schnell went unconscious. So that's a knockout loss. Obviously, the Rob Font one, the Hector Sandoval one, most recently the Pantoja one. And now Saturday night, I think Tyson Nam's about to put a nice little shot on his chin and send him into the shadow realm. So I got Tyson Nam here via 1st-round knockout.
Yeah, I actually really don't bet on people with bad tins for the most part. I'm the guy that likes fading them. But yeah, I bet on Danger here. I think that, like Kelton said, besides the chin, I feel like he's better wherever the fight goes besides the power. I think that Nam definitely has more power. But I think that Danger is more technical, and I really hope that he fights smart here because he shouldn't have been brawling with Pantoja at all. Before that, I mean, he looked really good against Smolka, and he looked really good against Espinoza. I mean, Nam hasn't been taken down in the UFC, but I feel like he's been taken down in the past, and I think Danger should fight smart and go out there and even try to take him down. Because this fight hits the mat, let's be honest, Danger has a huge advantage. Danger has really good jiu-jitsu, and I mean, it's not just the triangles he hits and the arm bars. I mean, he has a good guillotine. I mean, I like Danger's ground game a lot, and I think on the feet he's really fast and he has good striking. He's a good striker. It's just the chin. So I think that he could outstrike Nam. It's just 15 minutes to land that KO, and Nam's really low volume, man. I mean, yeah, he hits like a truck, but the guy just does not throw that much. And let's be honest, he knocked out a bum last fight. I mean, that dude like took that fight off the couch. Like, I don't even know if that guy is still alive. I mean, you know, we'll see what happens with that guy. But I think Danger's a good fighter. I think he's a top 10 guy. It's just the chin. And I thought he was looking good against Pantoja. He hurt Pantoja multiple times. I mean, Danger has a great jab, a good right hand, good straight left, way more volume too, man. So it's all about if Nam can knock him out. If Nam can't knock him out, then Danger will win a decision, or Danger could get this fight down to the mat and get a sub. Or, I mean, would it surprise you guys if Danger got a knockout? I know Danger has like a couple wins by KO, but it wouldn't surprise me. Nam's been knocked out 3 times, so
It surprised me.
You think so? I mean, I think
yeah.
So I got Danger here. I got him by decision.
Because that would imply that Matt Schnell has – okay, I don't want to use these words. I was going to say has the balls to stand and bang with Tyson Nam. He definitely has the balls. He's a UFC fighter. But what I'm trying to say is that would imply that, you know, he's coming out here with a reckless game plan. I just don't think he should stand and bang with a guy like Tyson Nam, personally. I think that, you know, try to get to the mat as quick as possible, use that slick jiu-jitsu. Yeah, so, but yeah, I mean, he does have great techniques everywhere the fight goes. He's a very well-rounded guy. He's a very skilled fighter. I was actually surprised he choked out Jordan Espinoza. I thought Espinoza was for sure going to knock him out. And I think Tyson Nam's for sure going to knock him out. So we'll see what happens. I've been wrong about his fights before, but I don't know, man. That power versus that chin, I got to go with Nam.
Next fight, man. Speaking of power, we got Kyle Nelson versus Billy Q. This is an interesting fight because going in this fight, I thought that Nelson was really live and stuff. And when you watch the tape, you know, I do think that the line's off, and I think that he has a chance to get the win. It's just kind of like Dan was saying about Eubanks. I mean, Nelson's gas tank's not good. I mean, this guy gasses, dude. Every fight, he gassed really bad against CDF. He gassed really bad against Sales. Yeah, I went out there and knocked out Polo. I mean, everyone's knocked out Polo, but yeah, he's a finisher, man. I mean, the guy has good striking. He has a good right hand. He's really big for 45. Just another thing that I don't like about him, though, besides the cardio, is the guy's been taken down a lot too. And Billy, man, has pretty good grappling, dude. Billy's relentless, and I'm not sitting here saying Billy's going to be a contender or anything, or a top guy, top 15, top 20, but you know, man, I was kind of impressed with Billy's last fight. I know I bet Spike, and I actually think that Spike won that fight. But Billy looked, I mean, dude, Billy looked good. And Billy is a dog, man. I mean, Billy has a good chase, tough, and he has good cardio, and he has a lot of volume on the feet. I feel like Billy needs to just go out there and survive the first round, and I think he can break a guy like Kyle Nelson. I think that he has a better grappling. I think that he has more volume. I think that he can actually get Kyle Nelson out of there. We've seen Nelson, you know, finish 2 fights in a row before his last fight. So I've been impressed with Billy, and I think that this is not the fight to fade him. I think Billy should be faded down the line, but I got Billy. I think he's the better fighter, man. Wherever the fight's, the power. Nelson has more power, but other than that, I think Billy has the advantages. So I got Billy Q winning. I got him with the second round TKO. Yeah, who you got?
Man, this is one of those fights where it's like, if you want to lay minus 250 on a comeback kid, which is what Billy Q is, get ready for a sweat. That's basically what I got to say about that, man, because Kyle Nelson hits like an absolute truck. And that first round, just get ready for Billy to possibly get knocked out or get knocked down or something among those lines. Now, if that doesn't happen, I definitely see Billy taking over the second and third round for sure. Nelson has shown that even though he did take Sales back, I believe, in the second round, but I do think, not to discredit his jiu-jitsu or anything, but I do think that was more about what Sales did wrong than what Nelson did right. And I don't think that he's going to be taking a guy like Billy Q's back. Billy Q is a black belt, but that first round, Billy Q gets off to such slow starts that I'm genuinely concerned about what happens in that first round. I do think that Kyle Nelson could possibly get a first round knockout. Now, if that doesn't happen, I do see him slowing down. And Billy's a guy that he doesn't break. He stays in there the entire time. He's kind of like squirmy with his transitions, and he can just find a way to the back or, do a sweep or whatever the case may be. But I see him coming on hard in that second round and then choking him out in the third. So I'm going to go with Billy Q via submission here. But at the current line, I would not lay it.
Man, if y'all have been watching me for a while, you know that these two guys right here have been two of my favorite fighters in the division for the last year or two. I love the style that Kyle Nelson brings. He comes out so strong in that first round. He's easily one of the most powerful hard hitters in the featherweight division. Hits super hard, man. And then Billy Q, on the other hand, I'm a huge fan of this guy's jiu-jitsu, his cardio, just his overall his track record. I'm just a big fan. Like, he was on the Ultimate Fighter way back in the day. I know he lost to Saul Rogers, who probably should have won that season, but I know he had a visa issue. And he's been on a nice streak since. His only loss since the Ultimate Fighter was actually against Mitchell Quinones, who used to be in the UFC. And man, that was kind of a sketchy loss to get knocked out by a guy like that. I'll say this, man, I'm a fan of the guy, but Billy Q, he's a little chinny, let's be honest here. And against a guy like Kyle Nelson, I just don't think you can pay the minus 250 for Billy Q here whatsoever. If you like Billy Q, it's a live bet spot, man. Just live bet him after the first round. Kyle Nelson's probably going to have a nice, strong first round. Or, Kyle Nelson gets the knockout in the first round, and then you don't have to lose a single penny. But if you like Billy Q, wait for that second round. You might get a pick'em line. And I think if it hits that point, he's probably going to take over with takedowns, grappling. He's definitely got the better cardio. It's just that first round's going to be so scary, man. I actually think, if anything, the money line value is definitely on Kyle Nelson here. Even if you want to get cheeky and take Kyle Nelson via TKO/KO or Kyle Nelson round one, you could probably do that too. But DraftKings, this is a good DraftKings fight, guys, because either you're going to get that Kyle Nelson first round knockout, or you're going to get Billy Q racking up a lot of takedowns, advances, or maybe reversals, lots of ground and pound or sub attempts. So I like this fight from a DraftKings perspective. From a betting perspective, I got to pass all day long, and I'm a big fan of both guys, so I wish them both luck. But I'll go with Billy Q, 29-28 unanimous decision.
Yeah, next fight, man. We got Mike Rodriguez versus Ed Herman. Kelvin, who you got here?
Oh man, this is an interesting one, man. This is another one where I just feel like you cannot pay minus 300, whatever he is, on Mike Rodriguez. Even in his last fight, I think he was lined similarly against Marcin Prokhnio, and I'll be honest, I think this is a big step up from Prokhnio. Like, Ed Herman might be real old and slow and possibly chinny, but like from a skill standpoint, from a experience standpoint, I kind of feel like if Mike Rodriguez comes out here, goes really hard for the knockout early, and this fight gets extended, I see Ed Herman doing his thing here in rounds 2 and 3, guys. I think he's going to chop up those legs. I think he's going to clinch him up. I think he could arguably get takedowns. And I think the experience of Ed Herman could really come through here. I don't know, man. When it comes to Mike Rodriguez, like, he's big for the division. He definitely hits hard. I feel like he has these nice physical attributes, but like, it just doesn't really mesh well when it comes to the fights. Like, unless he's front running, like, it gets sketchy, and I don't want a sketchy fight on a minus 300 guy. So I think it's Ed Herman or pass all day long here. I'm actually seriously considering putting like a 1 or 2 unit shot on Ed Herman here. Again, it might be better as a live betting situation though, because I really like this fight for him. If it hits round 2, first round's going to be scary for him, but I'm actually going to come out here and pick Ed Herman. I think he's going to survive the early onslaught and take over late on Mike Rodriguez.
Dan, who you got?
I got Mike Rodriguez by first round knockout, man. I think that he's got a 5-inch reach advantage here, a 3-inch height advantage. He's much younger. Let me actually see the age difference here. He is 8 years younger. And I do hear what you're saying, Kelton, that if he can't get that knockout, and this does go all 3, that, you know, Rodriguez, he's been very sketchy when fights get real. You know, when shit gets tough, it's been very sketch. So I agree that if it gets to that place, then Herman's got a chance. But, man, it's hard for me to see Herman surviving that early speed. I do see something long down the pipe going out there and putting Herman down. I mean, guys like John Vellante were going out here beating Ed Herman. You know, guys like CB Dalloway are out here beating Ed Herman. Now, I actually picked Ed Herman to beat GM3 just because I thought that, you know, he's a weight class bigger and that stylistically speaking, you know, both black belts. I actually thought that was a really good match for Herman. So I was actually taking him there at dog odds. But here, a little tougher for me. I'm going to go Rodriguez by first round knockout.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was wrong about Rodriguez. I thought he was going to be like one of the best prospects at 205. Turned out that I was wrong. But I mean, Jung, you know, that guy's. I'm excited to see how Jung looks in his next fight. Jung's, you know, a good prospect, I think. But yeah, man, Rodriguez is so much faster, way more smooth, more technical. I mean, he's a way better striker. It's all about if Herman can get the fight down on the mat. When's the last time we saw Herman shoot for a takedown? So I don't think it's going to happen. But if this fight hits the mat, then you got to give Herman the advantage. But I mean, I don't know. Rodriguez is hard to trust at this line, but I got him winning as well. Next fight, honestly, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I really do not care about this fight at all. We got KGB Lee versus Roxanne Modaferri. I like KGB. She's definitely one of my favorite fighters in the division. I thought Roxanne looked really bad last fight. I should have bet Murphy. That was, oh my god, I don't even want to talk about it. I was so pissed. I picked Murphy and didn't bet her. I know the first fight, I think that she won a split versus KGB, but these fighters are way different than that fight. I got KGB. I think that she's going to go out there and fuck her up on the feet. Roxy could get takedowns, but I mean, KGB has a good get-up game. She has a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. I don't think that she's going to get tapped out here. I think Roxy has to get this fight down to the mat, obviously. KGB is going to style on her on the feet. I got KGB, and I'm going to go with the TKO. Dan, who you got?
I'm rooting for Roxanne Modaferri. You know, I don't root for people that married Nazis. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a KGB Lee fan, and I hope that Roxanne Modaferri submits her in the first round. But that being said, KGB Lee statistically has an advantage in literally every striking category, every grappling category, everything. And interestingly enough, they actually fought before and Roxanne won. This was a while back. I say KGB Lee takes the rematch, but hopefully Roxanne gets a submission.
Yeah. Yeah, man, they fought. It was over half a decade ago, actually, 2014. Andrea Lee was only 2-0. And even then, Andrea Lee was able to go to a close split decision with her. Imagine what's going to happen now that Andrea Lee is, I mean, arguably in the prime of her career. I'll keep it short and sweet. I think she outstrikes Roxanne if it stays standing. I even think she can land takedowns, and she's got to be careful on the mat. Roxanne Modaferri definitely is great BJJ. That's probably her biggest strength. But I'm going to say Andrea Lee avenges this loss by decision.
So next fight we have Kama Worthy versus, how do you pronounce this guy's last name? Ottoman
Azaitar.
Azaitar. This is an interesting fight. Dan, who you got in this one?
This is a really good fight, man. This is the fight that's going to let us know exactly where Kama Worthy is right now. And I feel like he's really proven himself those last two fights, because the Devontae Smith fight, he was a massive underdog. He goes out there, he knocks him out in the first round. And I thought he looked good up until the knockout as well. And in the Luis Pena fight, I thought he looked fantastic in the first round and the third round. And even in the second round when he got taken down, he survived all the bad spots. And you could really see the impact of when he lands his shots, man. That guy is an ox. He hits like an absolute truck. He's big for the weight class. And I think he's one of these guys that if you look at, his past history, he's actually been knocked out a bunch. But for the majority, minus the Paul Felder fight, the majority of those knockouts were at 145. So it's either a case where he was cutting too much weight and now, he's better suited for 55s, or it's a case where his chin hasn't been touched properly since those fights. So this will let us know because Otman Azaitar, let me count what the number is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's got 9 knockouts on his record. So this guy goes out there and he knocks people unconscious. And that last one against Teemu Packalén, I understand Teemu's been starched before in devastating fashion, but dude, that was one of the scariest knockouts I've ever seen in my life. I mean, talk about a face plant, talk about a 50K bonus. So, I mean, Otman Azaitar is live for a knockout here. And interestingly enough, odds makers actually originally opened him the favorite. So shout out to anyone that got that dog money on Worthy. I think that was pretty sharp. But here at the slight favorite price, it's just about, do you think that Otman can land that one big punch or not? Because I do think that if this goes the distance that, Worthy probably has a better output. He's a lot more experienced. He's fought way better competition, and he comes from a better regional scene than Azaitar. But, man, I got a lot of respect for the Azaitar brothers. I think Abu, man, I like his brother a lot too. I think Abu is about to come out here and make a statement against this kid, Joaquin Buckley. So make sure y'all look out for that. Hopefully they give me pick 'em odds on that because I like Abu a lot. But Otman, it's a little tougher, man, because at this weight class, it's going to take more than just these one-punch knockout power, these one-punch knockouts, man. You're going to have that well-rounded, complete game, especially at 155. So Otman, I mean, again, he hits like an absolute truck. Kama's been knocked out 5 times, so there's definitely a chance Otman comes out here and wins this fight via knockout. You cannot deny that at all. But I do think down the stretch that Worthy is the better fighter overall, more experience, paid his dues, and if his chin holds up, big if, but if his chin holds up, I think he will win this fight.
Yeah, man. This is a really good fight. I'm glad it's getting the co-main event slot. I think it's deserved of it. Kama Worthy's came out and had a really strong UFC career so far. And then on the Azaitar side, I mean, he's got to be one of the most exciting fighters in the division. This guy comes out to knock you the fuck out, super aggressive, big power, explosive. The guy is definitely a treat to watch for sure. And, Dan said this fight will tell us exactly where Kama Worthy's at, and that's true. This fight's also going to tell us exactly where Otman Azaitar is at, too, because this is a huge step up in competition, man. From Teemu Packalén, I know he knocked out Teemu Packalén in, spectacular fashion, but, I mean, Teemu Packalén's been knocked out in spectacular fashion before. I don't look too much into that win. In my opinion, this is Azaitar's first real fight. Kama Worthy's no slouch whatsoever. I feel like he is honestly the more technical striker here. I feel like if anybody has a ground advantage here, it's probably him. I feel like if the fight gets extended, I feel like he'll have the better gas tank. And yeah, man, if you got those dog odds on Kama Worthy, that's a good play in my opinion. I think at the slight favorite odds, I'm gonna have to pass just because of his track record of getting knocked out. Like Dan mentioned, they were pretty much all at 145, so it could make for a difference. But I think there's just too many questions in this fight to go out and lay your hard-earned money. You're better off just sitting back, seeing what happens, and then on DraftKings. This is in DraftKings fights, man. I think whoever wins this fight's going to score really high. So, I mean, me personally, I'll probably split it down the middle. Maybe 30% ownership on Worthy and 30% ownership on Azaitar. So yeah, may the best man win. I'll go with Kama Worthy. I think the experience will come through for him, and I'm gonna say he subs Azaitar late.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna complete the trifecta here. I was initially on Ottoman, but then when I looked more into it, Worthy's definitely improved, and I was, really high on Devontae Smith, and to go out there and knock him out the way he did was impressive. And then the last fight too, I mean, I thought he won the first round versus Bob Ross. Second round was close, but subbing a guy like Bob Ross was impressive, and I feel like he's more well-rounded than Ottoman. I do think that Ottoman has really good hands. But I mean, Worthy has a good ground game. Worthy's, I mean, I think that Ottoman's only been out of the first round like twice. So I mean, I think that this, like Kelvin said, this fight gets out of the first round. Worthy's gonna have the cardio advantage. And his boxing looked really good against Pena. I mean, his right hand looked phenomenal, and the guy has, good movement and everything about his game. Just the chin, just like with Danger. But I mean, Worthy hasn't been knocked out in a long time. And like Dan said, a lot of them were at 45, and he shouldn't be fighting at 45. This guy's pretty big, dude. Yeah. So I do think that Ottoman's no slouch. I don't think he's a jobber. I think he's definitely going to win fights in the UFC, but I think this is his first L time for him. I'll go with Worthy. And I actually think that, like what Dan said, I think that his brother is better. I think that Abu's better. I think he's a better brother. But I don't think Ottoman's bad. I think that he has a good game. It's just he's been fighting a lot of, bums, and this is a pretty big step up. I know we like to joke about Worthy in the past, but he's improved. We were like, me and you were saying that this guy has no chin. This guy's gonna get smoked against Devontae Smith, and then wow, he's been looking pretty good, and he's on a 7-fight win streak too. So I mean, you gotta put that in hand. So I got Worthy. Next fight, main event evening. We got Angela Hill versus Michelle Waterson. I mean, Kelvin, me and you were talking about this earlier. I do think that this was a 3-round fight. I feel like it would be a bet for me for Angela Hill. But now it's a 5-round fight, and it's kind of hard trusting Hill. But I know we like to joke about her in the past and all that stuff. But let's be honest, she's looking really good. I know she did not beat Zonin. I don't care what anyone says. She probably won a round versus Zonin, but people are saying that she beat her. I don't agree with that at all. I do think that she beat Claudia. I don't care what anyone says. That was a robbery. I thought she won that fight. And I thought that was her best performance. And I think that Waterson's on the decline. I think that Angela Hill's a lot better on the feet. It's all about if Waterson can go out there and get her down the mat. 5 rounds. I mean, she has 5 rounds to choke her out. Cardio-wise, we've seen Hill slow down. So, I mean, that's a big question mark for me in this fight. But, I mean, Hill's just bigger. She's more technical. I feel like that she has way more volume on the feet. Waterson's striking is really not that good, man. I mean, Waterson, she's tough, and she has that good head and arm throw. I can see Waterson taking down Hill, but I don't know. This is an interesting fight, especially for 5 rounds, man. I think Hill can get back up. I don't think Hill is going to go out there and shoot on a girl like Waterson, even though I didn't think that she was going to go out there and take down Cyphers, and she did. But then again, Cyphers has no ground game. So I got Hill winning this fight. 5 rounds is interesting, though. But I'll go with Hill winning the first 3 rounds and then Waterson coming back. Dan, who you got?
So it was brought to my attention that Angela Hill is actually the first ever Black female to headline a UFC event, and that's fucking awesome. Y'all know I love my sisters, so I think that's really, really cool, and I like the progress that Angela Hill's made in her career. She's been getting better every single fight. So I got to give her a lot of credit, man. But let's debunk a couple myths real quick. First myth, that the fight with Yan Zonan could have gone either way. Like what? Like, firstly, Yan Zonan won 14 minutes of that fight. The only moment that, you could give a round to Angela Hill for was that near triangle attempt at the end of that round. Aside from that, Yan Zonan controlled every single exchange and basically every minute of that fight. So to me, it was actually closer to a 30-27 than it was a 29-28, but it is what it is. And then the Claudia Gadelha fight, it's like, yeah, you dropped her in the first round. So you 100% won the first round. But when you take your foot off the gas pedal and then the next 2 rounds were close, man, and then you cry robbery, it's like, you got no one to blame but yourself. So I actually wish there was a little more accountability after that Claudia Gadelha fight. Like, you did so good in that first round. Like, why couldn't we carry that over the second and third? So I don't really think it was the big robbery everyone else did. I think everyone else had a bet on Angela Hill, and they were frustrated they lost. But the reality is, if you watch that fight objectively, she knocks her down the first round, and then the output wanes in the second and third. So how is that a robbery? It's not. It was a close fight that could have gone either way. As far as here with Michelle Waterson is concerned, I agree. 3 rounds versus 5 is a massive difference. a massive difference. And wait, hey, put a spot on picks comment on the screen real quick. Dan, you blind or what? No, I'm not blind. Let's speak factually. First round, Claudia Gadelha Angela Hill knocked down Claudia Gadelha in the first round. So, or second round. So that second round goes to Angela Hill. But first round, she got taken down. And then third round, she coasted. So how the hell can you score that fight for Angela Hill, like say it like decisively, like that fight was a robbery when she got knocked down in the second round? So second round is the only round I really give to Angela Hill. I mean, the round that she knocked Claudia down in, but that first round, she got taken down. And then the third round, she coasted. So that's 29-28 either way. But all right, you can remove that comment. But as far as this fight is concerned, I agree with you that, 3 rounds versus 5 rounds is a big difference, man. And 3 rounds, I would favor Hill, but 5 rounds, I don't know, man. Michelle Waterson has some sneaky techniques. I mean, she took Joanna Jędrzejczyk's back, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk has fantastic defense. She's never been submitted before. Angela Hill's been submitted more than once. I'm not going to be surprised if Karate Hottie comes out here and submits Angela Hill. So I'm actually going to go with the underdog here. I think this fight should be a pick'em. I think if it was 3 rounds, I'd lean Angela Hill, but I think Angela Hill's getting hyped here unnecessarily. Look, I like her. I like her personality. I like her videos of her dancing and being funny. I like that she's the first Black female to headline a UFC card. Like, I like all that stuff, and her progress, I definitely acknowledge all of it, and I'm impressed with her. But man, I still think she slows down as fights progress. I still think she's got some holes in her ground game that need to be fixed. And I still think that Karate Hottie, despite, being limited in the fact that she's basically got a sidekick and a head and arm throw, I think that might be enough to come out here, take her back, and choke her out. So I'm going to go with Michelle Waterson to win this main event.
Man, it's real interesting because the first time this fight was lined up, I had a bet on Angela Hill. It was 3 rounds. I put 3 units on her at -117. Then the fight got canceled. And now we're here with 5 rounds, main event, and I'm staying away, man. It's funny. I actually, shout out to our boy, Ricky Jitsu. I actually had a $200 bet with Ricky on this fight too, but we mutually agreed to cancel it because of the 5 rounds. I mean, that definitely changes things. If I were to have, I did have money on Angela Hill. If a fight changes to, the amount of rounds, that bet gets canceled. So that's what me and Ricky mutually agreed on. And now we're here, man. And I just get this vision in my head. Like, anytime I try to think about Michelle Waterson's path to victory here, man, just the vision in my head of Michelle Waterson taking the back and, choking her out with the rear naked choke. That's just what I see if Michelle Waterson wins here. Dan's right. I think there are some holes in Angela's ground game that are still there, and she does slow down, man. So, like, I've completely flipped on this rightfully just because of the amount of rounds. It changes everything. I thought in 3 rounds, Angela Hill was going to clearly come out and win, at least rounds 1 and 2. But yeah, this changes things. Michelle Waterson, Michelle Waterson looks in really fucking good shape too. I don't know if you guys have seen her Instagram, but she looks jacked. Like, it may have taken her a few years, but I think she's definitely filling out to that 115-pound weight class finally. Of course, we all know she used to be a 105-pounder. She is one of the smallest fighters in the division, but damn, she looks jacked, man. But Hill on the other side, she's in the best form of her career right now. I personally scored the Claudia Gadelha fight for Angela Hill, and this is coming from someone that bet on Claudia Gadelha. I thought Hill won that fight, but it was close enough to where, it could have gone either way. And, before that, she should be on a 4-fight win streak right now, man. The Carnelossi fight back in Mexico with the cut stoppage, I thought that was a solid performance. Destroyed Cyphers, beat Lona Lukbunmi, who, that girl's a really good striker. I forget who Loma's supposed to fight next, but Jin Frey, yeah. I think Loma's going to come out there and, look real good against Jin Frey. So that's an all right win. Again, that's another girl who's kind of small for the division, but man, I just see Angela Hill getting the better of the striking exchanges here. But as the fight goes on, I kind of see Michelle, finding her way and eventually getting takedowns. And I don't know at what point in that fight's going to happen. Maybe it's around the 3rd round, so we could see an Angela early, Michelle late kind of situation. So I'm going to go with Angela Hill here via a very, very close 48-47 decision.
Yeah, man. One thing I want to say real quick, I just saw that Kyler Phillips is back. He's fighting Dana, I think, Dana Backpearl. So I'm really excited to see Phillips back. And then that dude, that French dude that you were high on that lost to Don Madge, that dude has a fight, I guess, going to be dropped in October. They haven't said who's fighting it. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Wait,
like
who?
that guy that lost.
Fares,
Yeah, that guy that lost to Madge.
Oh, yeah. That guy's not bad.
I wasn't very impressed with that guy. But yeah, Dan, thanks for coming on, man. I'm sure you'll come on in the future. It's kind of late notice, but yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me, gentlemen. I really, truly appreciate it. It's good talking fights with you guys, and thank you to all your listeners for joining as well. Thank you.
You want to say like who do you think like is gonna like? I'm not gonna say in your picks, but who do you think's gonna show up this week? If you have to choose one guy, who do you think's gonna like get like a highlight reel win?
That's tough. I mean, I think there's a couple. I think Mike Rodriguez has finishing potential here. I think that Brock Weaver might choke out Frank Camacho. I think the Kyle Nelson versus Billy Q fight has finishing potential. The Ivy and Barberena one, of course, and last but not least, Worthy and Azaitar. So I think you're definitely going to see some finishes in those fights for sure. But yeah, usually these cards that people sleep on. I mean, honestly, I hate talking in these terms like, oh, this fight card is this and that fight card is that. Like, to me, it's like there's an opportunity to watch fights and make money. I'm in, period. And that's it,
Agreed. Kelton, you want to do a recap on your bets so far? You only have one, right?
Yeah, I only have one bet right now. 2 units on Matt Schnell plus 105. Basically, I mean, me and you, Justin, we acknowledge the threat here. It is the knockout, but I feel like at dog money, it's worth the risk. So yeah, 2 units, Matt Schnell plus 105. As far as spots I'm eyeing, I'm definitely eyeing Matt Frevola. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to bet him at any kind of dog money. Other than that, man, like maybe if the Mazzo line gets a little better, like if you're going to give me under minus 200 on Sabina Mazzo in this spot, that might be a good value spot. Really like her here. And then, that's actually it right now, man. Oh, a dog shot on Ed Herman. I might take 1 unit shot on Ed Herman. We'll see what happens. Oh, and shout out to everybody in the comments that's asking about my preferred Gatorade color choice. I do like blue, but if I can ever find rainberry, that's my favorite Gatorade flavor.
Hell yeah. Kelton knows what's up. It's all about that Gatorade rain, especially that berry. That's bar none the best one. So Kelton is 100% correct there, even though it's a matter of personal opinion and taste and preference, but who gives a fuck? He's right.
I like the white cherry, dude. That shit's fucking bomb. What is it called? Ice cherry, I think, or that's my favorite flavor. Yeah, recap. So I bet on Roberts and I also bet on Danger. 4 units on Roberts at minus 120, and then 2 units on Danger at plus 100. No, 3 units at plus 100. So yeah, we'll be back next week, and thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back, and I can't wait for next week. Oh, one quick thing I want to say. So the whole 5 dimes thing that kind of hurts a little bit. So I mean, I'm trying to find out like where I should go, either bet online or where else is it? Bovada. I'm thinking of bookmaker. I'm thinking about maybe going to like Red Rock down the street, but I don't know. We'll see.
Oh yeah, you're in Vegas, dude. You don't even have to worry about this shit. Just go down the street, fucking, spend whatever money you want to spend on your bets, watch them at the sports book, and then if you win, you literally go up to the front desk and cash out. It's way simpler than having to go through all this withdrawal bullshit with all these other online books. So you're in Vegas, man. You got nothing to worry about.
I work Saturdays though, and I don't get off till like 9, so I don't even know. Am I allowed to go pick up like by cash like that night? Like wait, or does it matter?
Dude, anytime, bro.
You can go Monday as long as you got your ticket. You can go Monday because I know you like to rush to place your bets and you like to bot your line. So I think why don't you go like midweek sometime? Like go Thursday, place your bets then if you have the patience to wait till then, Justin. But I hope you do. But anyways, go there Thursday. And make sure you keep your tickets, because if you win the bet, then you got to go back. You got to show them the ticket, then they'll pay you. But yeah, so as long as you keep your ticket, you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it next week for sure. I'm gonna withdraw this Saturday after the card. But yeah, thanks again, guys, and we'll be back next week. Later, guys.